A mother who desperately wants her children back keeps fighting in court. 10 News uncovered 7 different investigations out of Carroll County. One of those cases that was investigated is now in the Court of Appeals. This is the first time we're hearing what happened in those hearings. Our own Jenna Zipton was inside the courtroom and is working for you and explains why this one case could set a precedent for other cases in Virginia.
We're really in a crisis point in this state, and I think probably in the nation, in how we deal with families in crisis.
John Kohler is the attorney representing Angie Key, a mother of 3, who is fighting for custody of her 3 kids after the county took them away due to substance abuse. He says this report from the Commonwealth should be part of her case and make a difference in getting her kids back. It shows how the Carroll County Department of Social Services showed little regard for the laws, regulations, and policies that would have protected Angie and her children. A state investigation found from the moment the children were first removed from her care, the agency engaged in actions and made decisions that made it increasingly difficult and ultimately impossible for her to be reunited with her children. But this report was never seen by a judge, who ultimately ruled it was in the best interest of the children not to have contact with their mom.
Angie's attorney argues the report should have been used in court because it could have changed the outcome. The timeline is important here because it created an insurmountable challenge of getting the family back together.
May 2019, her 3 children were removed. 2 years later, juvenile court terminates parental rights with the goal of adoption. November of that same year, Angie files a complaint with the newly opened Office of the Children's Ombudsman, which can investigate any Department of Social Services. The office investigates, but it's a months-long process. February 2022, a 2-day trial where the court rules that substantial progress was not made toward unification. In April, Circuit Court terminates Angie's parental rights, and the children have now been in foster care for nearly 3 years, half of her youngest child's life.
Probably thinks his mommy doesn't want him.
But Angie keeps fighting. She got a new lawyer, and armed with the knowledge that the state was investigating Carroll County, she asked that they wait for the final report to make a final decision. But the judge ruled against her. While the investigation of social services continued, one judge said even if the report would have been critical of Carroll County, it would not have changed the court's findings. But Angie and her attorney can't believe the state investigation isn't relevant. You're about to hear her attorney making his argument in court.
When the trial court said, "I don't believe the report would change the court's opinion," and my response to that is, how can the court know whether the report would change its opinion when the court doesn't know what's in the opinion?
During this time, Angie was drug-free, going to counseling and being regularly drug tested. But the state investigation shows Carroll County didn't properly handle her case. The state investigation showed the lack of urgency or interest to achieve reunification, lack of meaningful visitation with the children, court records that contained incomplete and inaccurate information, and troubling internal policies.
10 News wasn't allowed a camera inside the courtroom, but we did get a recording of the hearing. Carroll County argues the children need stability, while Kohler argues this case was mishandled, proven by a state investigation, and wants Angie to have another chance.
The 3-judge panel has yet to rule, but Kohler wants this case to be an example. These state investigations are new, and courts haven't used them to make decisions about children in foster care. They could give parents like Angie a better chance at keeping their kids when social services violates laws and policies.
What is your hope after today?
That it's going to change things for others. If it can't help me and my family and my children, at least it can help others in the future.
In Salem, Jenna Zipton, 10 News, working for you.
It could take 3 months for a decision, but Angie plans to take this all the way to the Virginia Supreme Court if needed. 10 News reached out to Carroll County, but they said they're not allowed to comment on individual cases.